What's going on, everybody? I hope you're all well, and welcome back to Baldur's Gate 3. Now, last episode, we got over here and found ourselves at this puzzle right at the end after we dealt with Lae'zel's kin, who weren't too kind about the situation, to say the least. So, we have this little puzzle to figure out. Now, we do have, inside our inventory, a Selunite journal. Let's read this. Thus the interlocking circles will bring the full moons to match the stars, while casting darkness where it belongs at the bottom. That chasm to the Underdark will stay sealed. I confess, the design is not foolproof to outsiders, but I had to sacrifice complexity for material resilience. I've always wondered why Seluna took me from the Hall of Wonders to serve at this temple as a priestess. Perhaps this was the reason. So, here it says, casting darkness where it belongs, at the bottom. If we look here, depending on which way you enter this room, of course we entered from this way, but this would make this section right here the bottom, and you see at any given time there are 4 pieces of darkness. Stars would be up high, and darkness would be low. So I wonder if the solution to this puzzle is not just simply to get all 4 circles of darkness down here. So we'll yoink these into position. And we're about to find out if I've got the gist of this.
Ah, this goes very far down.
Indeed I do.
I'll have to go in to see the bottom. Another step forward.
Now, of course, I did say,
One step at a time.
out of pure spite, we will still do this. Okay. It unlocked itself. I was going to pass the check on principle. And here we go. The path we are actually going to take into the Underdark. A very big ladder down a very big black hole. Yeah, I wouldn't fancy climbing down this ladder. I have a weird thing with ladders anyway, I don't typically trust them, but a ladder like this, that's like 5 miles long, I am all kinds of good on that.
You have to spend so long poking about down here.
Really? I thought the shadows would be right up your alley.
With the sun on my skin.
Said no vampire ever.
You've only just come to tolerate sun and you're already nostalgic. If you're going to complain the whole way, by all means, return topside. You could use the color.
Pop off, Lae'zel. Oh, that's gonna be a tough check, huh? It's a 20. And thank God for advantage. Critical success.
Moving.
There you go, Astarion. Some light for you. Hope it helps.
That's curious.
Iron Candelabrum. Let's check the gilded chest first.
Easy.
We have in here a Helm of Smiting. Bolstering Smite. When you apply a condition with one of your Smite spells, you gain temporary hit points equal to your Charisma modifier. Constitution saving throws is +1, so we are going to give that to Shadowheart. She doesn't smite, but she could surely do the Constitution saving throws. You see the girls are still getting along splendidly. My character's facing the wall, pretending not to notice. Doesn't want to get in the middle of that. Potions.
A trap. Someone doesn't like visitors.
Trapped up loot chest, huh? It's an opulent chest too. These usually have pretty good things in them. And we have inside Luminous Armor, which is very important for Shadowheart's build that we're going for. So this, Radiating Shockwave. When the wearer deals radiant damage, they cause a radiant shockwave. And if we go into details and look at radiant shockwave, inflict radiating orb in a 3-meter radius, which is gonna man, my brain just died. What is the not con at all, I was looking for synergize. Which is going to synergize very well with the gauntlets that she already has on. So let's go ahead and get Shadowheart equipped, shall we? So the gauntlets she has. Radiating Orb Gloves. When the wearer deals radiant damage, the target receives 2 turns of Radiating Orb. Now we're going to stack on top of that the Radiating Shockwave. Is already better for her armor stat-wise too. And then we are also going to give her Constitution saving throws with this helmet. Although, I'm not too happy about the way that that looks, so we're going to be hiding your helmet, Shadowheart. We are going to need to dye this too. I'm not liking that. Let's go ahead and... Where's my black armor dye? Who did I palm it off to? I must have palmed it off to somebody because I'm not seeing it. Do you have it, Lizzo?
I crave blood.
You have the black and red one. We'll see how that looks.
Keep your distance, darling.
'Cause I can't find who has the black one. Oh, it looks pretty. Alright. Let's make the rest black and red too, while we're here. Black and red boots too, to match. Yeah, I'm a fan. He looks good. That build is starting to get really off the ground now. We still do have some items to fetch for her, but the chest piece is the main one. Now, do we just want to dive down the... No, let's take it nice and slow.
Moving ahead. Is that blood?
Let's be a little cautious.
Never mind.
Little caution never killed anybody, right? Starion, that's yours. See, there's a moonstone here powering this gate. Portcullis. So there's clearly some kind of fortress here. With Selunite flags all over the place, so it looks like we've ended up in a Seluna fortress. Down here in the Underdark, no less. Get some light going on down here.
Goes nothing.
See what we're doing. Need any of that stuff. Don't need a rope. Scroll of Ray of Sickness.
Open up.
Necessarily need that either. Leather boots, light hammer, in search of the night song. Fascinating that such a seemingly valuable object has proven so difficult to track down. Indeed, treasure hunters the realm over have traveled to the Sword Coast with one goal in mind: find the night song. Yet each by each they have failed, indicating dead ends, rebuffs, or else disappearing altogether. My latest inquiry was with half-orc named Greyley, who insisted he'd come as close as possible to the relic, as one may go without forfeiting his or her life. He indicated that the object is not, as most reports indicate, in the Selunite fort adjacent to the river Chiantha. It is, in fact, held in an old Sharan fortress somewhere in the environs of Moonrise Towers. However, Greyley reported that some kind of potent shadow prevents one from approaching where this fortress might be. Yank that book up in case we need to cross-reference later. I imagine most of this stuff is well past the sell-by date. Let's head over here briefly. Let's see a journal in there. Got 2 faded logbooks. See what we can get out of this one. Most of this small logbook is left empty. The last entry reads, Log 182. I was wrong. Should have paid more attention to the drow sightings. Should have known they were only a prelude. Stupid to think we had outsmarted them. This will be my last entry. Minthe will keep the records from now on. Have another faded logbook over here. Log 124. Signs of life near the outpost. Intelligent. Clearly trying to hide. Log 125. Still can't find the mysterious shapes. They know how to cover their tracks. Possibly drow. The next few entries are too faded to read. Log 129. Led them south. Rumors of a spectator there. Let the Underdark solve its own problems. Log 130. No sightings. Log 131. No sightings. Log 132. Minthe saw statues down south shaped like drow. Spectators shouldn't do that. Either way, that's one less problem to worry about. They had suspicions of something. I don't think we've encountered a spectator yet. We did read the little poem about one though, I believe. The Boy Who Cried Spectator. $117 is chunky.
Try me. Feel me.
We'll just hit him from up here, huh?
Get back.
Well, he fell.
Not everyone looks this good dead.
Thanks, Astarion. For the optimist, huh? That thing had 117 health. I am glad that this is what took care of that. Now, unfortunately, if we wish to progress through this, we're gonna have to deal with that. So we're gonna have to drop our line of defense. Laser. It only has 1 health, so I'm sure you can handle it.
And these things have stayed interesting.
Shatter the Moon.
Time to press ahead.
Gave us some inspiration. We did also have this way in. We could have kept the defenses up, but then we would have had to make some kind of jump here. I'd rather just get it open. The petrified drow, though. There's a bunch of petrified drow here, actually. Interesting. Well, that's all for another time. We'll deal with that at some
Let's
point.
move.
Someone there?
Starion, you're up.
A crooked touch.
I'll roll a 20 for this. Thank God for the bonuses, huh?
Still alive, so that's progress.
You, my friend, were hefty at 117 health. I am glad you got laced by the crystal. I suppose we'll be turning those back on.
Wonder if the gods are watching me.
Now, the last time we poked down here, even just for a second, we heard a very nasty voice calling out to us, saying that we were coming, it is coming. We tried to push it out, and then we dipped out of the Underdark very quickly.
Mind if I do?
Now would be a pretty good time to try and deal with whatever was going on with it.
Not a chance I'll fit in there.
Now, I imagine we could probably turn into a spider or something and check that. So I may come back and do that. Staff of the Moon Maiden back here.
Anything of use?
Journal of High Initiate Jarus. It always felt vainglorious to think my deeds worthy of a personal journal, but as I watch the drow mass outside our gate, I realize my arrogance is already of a far costlier sort. I see no harm in tipping the scales a little further. Not for me, but for those who followed me down into the dark. They deserve to be remembered. Initiate Norm Remise, lost in the deep tunnels as we fell back from the drow. Initiate Thulk of the Northern Wastes, grazed by an arrow and succumbed to poison. Initiate Bree Brecker, who stood against a Dryder with only her mason's hammer. And initiates they are, the entire company, for they have seen and suffered too much to be called novices. We've collapsed the tunnel behind, and have made ready to open the gate. Perhaps we can carve a path through. And if not, I enclose a list of names. Let the annals show that whatever their end, the cause was the same. One High Initiate Jarus wished to stamp his name in the history of his church. He sought to forge a path through the darkness, not realizing there are some places the light was never meant to touch. He was a fool. So there was a big enough drow force down here to take out the Selunite company that was down here. Have another journal. I imagine this is for the gate that we already lockpicked. Can't sleep without the moon and stars. As a child, I prayed to them before I ever knew Seluna's name. Is that blasphemy? When I walk the battlements, the only light I see is the glow of their eyes, out there, waiting. I know the High Initiate is making a plan. He'll get us out of this. We're making a stand. Moon Maiden fair, lend us your light, to guide us home in dark of night, to keep us on the path of light, ever burning, ever bright, I imagine was the last. The last line of the prayer succumbs to blurring, as if stained by something wet, which I would imagine would be blood. They certainly tried to take this place. I mean, there's plenty of blood and bodies and weapons of war. Crushed a body under this. Guess I'll gladly yoink the boots. Where did you fall from, friend? Alas, we can't jump it anyway. So before we deal with our good friend over here, we're gonna come this way real quick. We see something very interesting here. We have Phalar Aluve. And if anybody has checked the mods that I've been linking down in the description so you all could see what I was using, you'll notice I did have a Sword and Stone mod for Phalar Aluve. We just never had reason to use it until now. Well, that's all about to change. Save before we mess with this sword, actually, just in case.
A slender drow blade impales the stone before you, keeping a silent vigil.
This feels holy. Consider what the appropriate ritual might be.
You know this, right? A blasphemous ritual that desecrates Lolth by offering your blood to honor the weak.
For as much as you can say anything about Lolth and who we do or don't worship down here, I think my lust for power and treasure is plenty for me to drop some blood onto the stone.
The drow script inscribed on the blade flickers and glows. It rises from the stone, hanging in the air in silent offering.
Last rites of the Dark Dancer. 50 XP for that. Now, unfortunately, very good sword, especially with the mod that we have. So you see here, Elder Song. The weapon deals an additional 2 to 8 radiant damage if wielded by an elf. This weapon deals an additional 2 to 8 necrotic damage if wielded by a drow. It's a long sword. We have 0 proficiency with longswords, and actually, Shadowheart doesn't either, unfortunately. The weapon is for Shadowheart.
What's next, I wonder?
She was the one I was always planning to give this to. So, you see it's quite chunky, 9 to 30. It's a very chunky weapon. It also has Melody, which is the Phalar Aluve specific buff that it gets for being a legendary. We won't be giving her this until way later, once we have the stats to use it and the proficiency that we're going to get from our feats. So that'll be way late game, but it's going to be very disgusting, to say the least. And we'll put the shield back on when we use that too. But, like I said, that's for a long time from now, because we don't even have the proficiency for that yet, so do not worry about that for now.
Tim asks, known to cause confusion. Best not get too close.
The Timask. I wonder, Asterion. Since you know what it was,
How delicious.
can you just break that and we're good?
Shouldn't have wished to live more interesting times.
I will assume these disperse over time. Yes, indeed.
Very well.
So we can take down this path first, given that there's not much where else to go. We already saw that we're going to have to deal with the Minotaur when we head the other direction. But right now we have whatever this thing is, so let's move out of the way of this. And this is, again, is going to be one of the chunkier fights we've had to deal with in the game. 162. You already see the Underdark gets a little interesting. Lots of things to have to deal with down here. Lae'zel, I'm sure you want to get even. Go again. Surge up. Gonna chop this thing best we can. They're very tough. 55% chance to hit on Guiding Bolt. We got it. 4 turns of Radiating Orb now, or 4 stacks rather. This is a little special from Sorrowful Lash. Bonus action, we may as well. And we can yoink it a little, that's fun.
Still breathing, despite everything.
Alright. Let's get our buff on. I don't even know what we'll be able to do with this thing. It's gonna be tough, of course. Try and throw it off balance.
That won't work.
Alright, let's see what this thing does. It's pretty close to dead. Love the superiority die, which lets her attack back. And Blood Guzzler Garb is absolutely for Karlach whenever we decide to dip her back into this. We'll go ahead and send that over. Now that we took care of the tunneling friend, we don't have to worry about getting knocked off. And then over here, we already did take a little look at this. Some kind of fortress over here, and here are all those drow that are petrified. But the best way to get to there would probably be to jump out of the side of our fortress here, then mosey on down that way and deal with it like that. So that's probably what I'll do whenever it comes to that.
Still breathing, despite everything.
But again, that's all for later. For right now, we got to get to at least some kind of stronghold or fortress down here to get a foothold. 2 directions to go. We can go up and swing that way. We can go this way. Our Minotaur friend isn't where I remember seeing him. That's because he's up there. Darian,
Close.
open for me.
Some blood.
We successfully stealthed that actually, which is funny. The Skyrim effect.
Nothing important is ever easy.
Let's hit him with an ice knife.
No time for mercy.
Try and give him some kind of chilling effect. How many? You have 4 tier 1 spell slots. We can sacrifice a tier 1.
Again.
Critical miss is very unfortunate. Lae'zel, move up. You don't have enough room to gap close, but maybe you can frighten him. Are you tough enough to scare a Minotaur? You're not. He did a lot of damage though. Hit it again. Yeah, the Yankee crossbow is chunky. That big guy. Okay, I wasn't planning on angering the whole pack. Thought we just were enough to deal with one. Seems not. Oh, Shadowheart, please. Alright. I'm gonna put that greatsword up there for when his friend comes along.
Death's cold grip.
Take a munch. Thank you. You have advantage because he's surrounded.
Time to push my luck again.
We still have all of our temporary HP, which means we are doing poison damage. Let's see if we can hit this. We can't. Saved on Halo of Spores. You have extra attack though. Beautiful. Amulet of the Unworthy. Interesting. Take that up for now.
Swift and lethal.
Lazel. I would like you to just hit him with some shit
Try something else.
from a distance. You're gonna stay back, and we're just gonna hope that he attacks. Greatsword. Oh, you're a happy little shit, aren't you? We have advantage. Stab him in the back a bunch.
Where do I go from here?
Saved on Halo of Spores, but we do have extra attack, of course. Could Misty step away. Got a heart. Finally, she hits it. Thank you very much for that. Use the bonus attack of the Sorrow Glaive.
Victory awaits.
Lazel, it would be very nice if you finish this. Thank you. Very good. Relatively unscathed. I actually think above us, if you go directly up in the sky above us, I think that is actually where we fought the spider. Because there's a way to jump down into the Underdark from there. It's just you'd obviously die on the fall. Suppose if you use Featherfall, you might be able to make that. This is where we could have hopped across initially. What are these? Torch Stalk? I don't trust these. Yeah. Yeah, I certainly don't trust those. Let's let those dissipate.
Great. Get confused by one, blown up.
Yeah, let's just get all that out of there.
Have a lot on my.
I am not intending to mess with any of that.
Well, in it.
Dead Duergars there. And interesting, restless Myconids.
You are swallowed by a chorus of turbulent music. Through one creature sing many voices, the harmony of an entire collective.
Sovereign, he has come. He is here.
The choir fades. A single melody rises above the others, brassy and commanding.
I am sovereign.
You see a vision.
And the citadel is yours.
Your lifeless body wrapped in fungal tendrils. The Sovereign is threatening you.
Is that any way to greet a potential friend? Tell the truth. Ooh, maybe we don't do that actually. Let's seek insight. See if we can get a handle on this. My dice turned to a 20 randomly though. That was weird.
Detect a distinct quiver in every note. These creatures have experienced recent tragedy.
I sense your fear. I've come to aid you.
Fungal roots weave through your mind, seeking your true intent. Then the Sovereign drones a new melody, cautious but welcoming.
Descend to me. Let us speak in flesh.
The persistent music coaxes you forward. The Sovereign expects you.
Now, these mushroom spore zombies are very interesting to my character, naturally, since we're a spore druid. So of course, I'm going to be investigating that. Duergar.
Corpses. These creatures did battle with Duergar. Something good here, I hope.
It looks like these creatures were very successful in their battle with the Duergar. Let's head up into the Myconid Colony before we get sidetracked too bad.
Things have stayed interesting.
Well, you used to be a Duergar, didn't you?
Fungus and mold glaze the servant's face and body. Through music and vision, the sovereign reveals its origins. You see a frothing Duergar, axe drawn, crazed by bloodlust, bearing down on a young Myconid. A frightened Myconid circle conjures mildewed vines. They encircle and transform the Duergar. It now belongs
He's wearing an
to the
absolute
circle.
amulet.
It will obey the sovereign.
Mushrooms can raise the dead. That's interesting.
Yeah, my character would find that very interesting.
I couldn't care less if they're slaves or building material.
Given that my character is quite literally of a similar kind of power, being able to raise and command the dead with the power that we hold is definitely an interesting discovery. Alright, here it looks like we have ourselves a merchant.
Ah, a visitor. You're a welcome sight. But let us observe the customs of the locals.
The scholar's brow tenses. His voice spills into your skull, the spores connecting mind to mind.
Blurg, proud member of the Society of Brilliance, at your service. Or perhaps not. Your mind is far more complex than that.
I'm assuming based on that reaction, he isn't tadpoled. Never heard of the Society of Brilliance.
Understandable. We are small in number and rarely stay in one place for long. My colleagues and I are working to improve conditions in the Underdark. This need not be such a dire, hostile place.
The Myconids clearly aren't dangerous if they're letting him just chill here.
For generations.
He's not infected with
Do you
fungus.
also seek peace among the Myconids?
Alright. Well, I see no reason to be honest. A Mind Flayer infected me with a tadpole.
Truly remarkable. But why come to the Underdark, where they hold so much power?
Explain the whole story.
You were infected by an illithid tadpole? It's a miracle you're still intact. You must be worried sick, but have no fear. I have a friend who may be able to assist. Omelium!
I hope this is important, Blurg. My Zerkwood samples need constant attention.
It is. This adventurer has an illithid tadpole inside his head, but he hasn't turned.
No ceremorphosis. That's impossible, but intriguing. Are you looking to have it extracted?
Geich, your head will make a fine trophy for my queen.
Relax, Lae'zel.
Please hold. I understand your rage against my kin. My species has terrorized the Underdark for countless generations. But I assure you, I stand with the Society of Brilliance, not the colonies of my people.
You would be the first of the Mind Flayers that we've ever seen. The Myconids wouldn't appreciate us fighting here. I'll listen.
Fool! They infest your head and invade your dreams, and still you would parley.
I ask
Enough,
only
Lae'zel.
that you refrain from violence. I respect that your opinion of my kind may be charged.
I understand it's her mortal enemy and she has her opinions, but clearly there is a difference here.
Would you like a diagnosis?
I would.
Open your mind to me. Let us see what lurks within.
Relax and let Omelium's mind search your own. 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 Relax and let Omelium's
As the Mellowam's mind pierces yours, the tadpole pulses with power. It feels 10 times its size. Alive, awake, almost smug.
This is most unusual. The incubation period should be complete, as should your transformation. But the larva is infused with strange magic. It appears to be in some form of stasis.
Can you extract the tadpole?
No. It appears to be shielded from physical and magical influence. And even without the shield, the extraction would involve severe cranial trauma.
That doesn't sound ideal.
It is not ideal. The process would surely kill you. But not to worry. Should you transform, I will happily perform a new examination.
Yeah, let's avoid that if we can. Tell Melium about the strange Mind Flayer ship you were on.
A Nautiloid? Fascinating. I have never set foot on one myself. They were our warships during the greatest eras of the Illithid Empire. We ruled the entire astral plane from their decks. The design was lost when the Gith rebelled and ended our dominion.
Thanks for the information.
Of course. I am sorry I cannot assist you in its removal. But I have an idea.
Oh, perhaps I should start taking notes.
Very enthusiastic,
There
this
may
one.
be a way to bypass that stasis. There are many alchemical substances that can influence the mind.
Bypass? What kind of alchemy are we talking about?
A tincture distilled from a collection of rare mushrooms. They have subtle psionic influence. I would require a fresh ton of madness and Timosk spores. But be warned, in their natural state, both of these mushrooms can be quite dangerous. Timosks cause confusion in those that approach them. The tongue is self-explanatory.
Eating those doesn't sound like a great idea, but then again, lovely. So where do I find these mushrooms?
The Underdark, of course, although they are quite rare, and their discovery perilous. I imagine Lenore would have them in her possession. She served Mistra as a cleric.
Why would a cleric have a bunch of dangerous mushrooms?
She is quite fond of her garden. Lenore has always been a lonely sort. Nature was her only companion. I offered her the chance to join the society, but she refused. Her experiments on Susa bark took priority.
Alright, I'll come back when I find the mushrooms.
May your travels be safe and swift.
Here's hoping. How about you, Amelia? You selling
I
anything?
greet you, child of the dark. How has your search for the mushrooms fared?
How did you escape your colony?
I was born with a propensity for arcane magic my people despise. It gave me the strength to resist the Elder Brain. Every waking hour I pushed back against its dire hold. My wizardry empowered me. The moment its control shattered, I fled. Before the colony discovered I had defected.
How do you survive? Don't you need brains?
In the beginning, I had an arrangement with a lich. Excellent company, despite what one would expect. I required brains, he required souls. A perfect symbiosis. But our ambitions eventually splintered. I wished to better the world, and he preferred its rot. So I left his company. And thus I now feed from those who act against the Society's goals.
Best way to deal with that sort of hunger, I suppose.
Perhaps the peoples of the Underdark will be less inclined to violence if they comprehend the cost, yes?
Deterrents are usually effective. Well, since he doesn't have anything to sell, I guess we're done talking to him. Don't like that you're making noise. Go away. Whatever's going on with that, just put it down. I don't want to explode in the middle of enemy territory. Thank you. Made me a little nervous.
You know, I can't tell if it's mourning, angry, or just hungry.
What's going on with this?
Don't.
Her condition is familiar. Poison, derived from a wild weed common to the Underdark. She'll need an antidote soon, most likely held by the poisoner.
Who did this to you?
Duergar slashed me.
If the Duergar poisoned you... Actually, let's take a look at this. Consider what we know about Duergar poison lore. Straight up rolled a nat 20.
Like dwarves, Duergar have innate resistance to poison, and thus no need for intricate brews. Though deadly if left untreated, the poison can be cured by the antidote or natural remedies.
Give her an antitoxin. Or an elixir of poison resistance. Let's give her an antitoxin. Carrying around all these antidotes. Good. The better.
Gods. Whatever that is, I needed it. Why are you helping me? You're a drow.
How could I pass by? You were in pain.
No arguments there. Felt like a hook horror was sorting through my guts. But... that cure did the trick. Quick, sharp too. I thank you for your help, but I gotta get moving. Oh,
Yeah, it might be a little soon for that.
Coles garters. Oh, I don't have time for this. My kin need me.
You're in no condition to help anyone. Take it easy and tell me what I can do.
Seems you're the helping kind. All right. I need you to rescue my kin. Not charity, mind. We can pay. We're Iron Hand Clan. Best artificers in Baldur's Gate. We were on an expedition down here when the Duergar snatched us up. I got away, but not the others. The Greys have them digging out some old ruin across the lake.
What was this expedition your clan were on?
Just mining for materials. Nothing unusual.
The briefest hesitation, but enough. She's lying.
Lying to someone who saved your life, huh?
Help my clan, and we'll make it worth your while. I swear.
Persuasion, you're lying. We know she's lying. It's a 15, that's a stiff check. Yeah, it's gonna be a hard sell. We have some inspiration. Perfect, we got exactly what we needed.
Fine. It's complicated, but my clan has trouble back in the city. A blood feud. We were searching for something to turn the tide. That's all I can say. But it's worth a lot to us. Understand?
Alright. I'll free your people if I can.
Thank you. Only wish
Anybody who's watched me for any length of time knows I have a big disdain for slavers and slavery in general, so putting a stop to slavery,
I
it's
these boots from the Greys when I ran.
sold
I'll
to
feel
me.
better knowing you're using them to kick some Duergar ass.
I'll gladly
I'll
go
mark
put
where I
slavers
made
to
my
the sword,
escape, and
whether she's being
wait
forthcoming
here, I
or not.
suppose. Not much choice, eh?
Anyone who takes slaves or partakes in slaves is gonna die in any game I ever play. That's just the way that works. Well, that's one good deed done. We got that information, so we'll save up. And now let's talk to Sovereign.
Something's on my mind.
The Sovereign's thick fingers stroke the corpse at its feet. A droning melody greets you.
These things are
as
so
the
cool.
creature turns its gaze to you.
I love the Underdark section of this game.
Talker, I show you a memory. Watch and listen.
A violent vision grips you. Dwergar, dark dwarves chopping Myconid remains.
They broke our peace. They killed our young.
The Sovereign's song slows to the pace of a dirge. It is still in mourning.
We laid waste to many, but intruders remain. Lakewood.
The Sovereign's song halts as it measures your worth.
I sense your resolve. You will find Dwergar invaders near Lake's Edge. Cleanse the rot. Destroy them.
Well, I already know they're slavers, so I'm happy to oblige.
Dwergar or Myconid, I care not which.
I agree with her sentiment, although it's certainly going to be Dwergar. Why did these Dwergar attack?
Deep purples swirl into familiar shapes. Gnomes in mining gear, chased by Dwergar.
The Dwergar seek a gnome. It is a guest.
You protected the gnome. Admirable of you.
The Sovereign says nothing, but you hear appreciation in its song.
Yeah, you certainly have my respect for that. You planted animating spores in the corpse, yes?
Yes. Our enemy's flesh makes a fine host for my growing children.
If I die down here, destroy my corpse.
Don't worry. I wouldn't hesitate.
Don't they just love each other? Really warms you up. These spores hold such power. How might I gain this knowledge?
You may not. The spores hear only the circle. They dance to no other harmony.
I'm in the circle of spores, actually. We'll see. I'll cleanse the rot. Those Dwergar near the lake will die.
The Sovereign gifts you one more vision. A wall of vines parting to reveal glowing light.
Riches of magic and mind. Cleanse the rot, and they are yours. You
Sounds
do
good
the
to me.
circle a service. We will await word.
I would do it for free, and you're offering pay. Alright, so we already know what we're going to be setting out on here. He's going to bring back his spore zombies.
It greets you with a harrowing elegy, cheerless as the new moon.
I wasn't trying to talk to anybody, actually. Let you go ahead and do whatever you're doing
All's well that ends.
and resurrect your
Not
zombies.
as bad as it could have.
We have multiple things to take care of. We'll take care of most of that next episode. Or at least we'll take care of the Dwergar next episode. Again, slaves are all scum and they deserve nothing but the blade, so that's what I'll be doing to any slaver I ever run into in any video game. Period. No exceptions to that one. They die by my hand. At every conceivable opportunity. We did check most of this. We didn't go into the water, but there's no reason to, because it just comes out here.
Keeping the alternative.
We'll go ahead and talk to her next episode, so I think that's a perfect place to wrap this one up, actually. So, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, leave a like and a comment. If you want to support the cause and help improve the channel, there is, of course, a tip link in the description below. Otherwise, stay tuned, and I'll see you soon with more Baldur's Gate 3. Take care, everybody. Have a great day. Pet your animals.